Ho, 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 ho.
Hello, welcome. What are you drinking?
We'll have a life in 16 ounces, please.
Cheers.
Welcome to Life in 16 Ounces, the show that raises a pint to the explorers,
The adventure seekers,
those wanting to break free from the norm,
to fill their glasses with memorable experiences.
and basically have a good time. I'm Brandon, and it's finally December. Time to celebrate.
And I'm Paul. If Santa comes to your house without a mask on, will you kick him out?
Hey, let's get the show started. This episode, we violate the stay-at-home order
F you, Gavin Newsom.
and escort 2020 out the door
Come on, keep going.
by drinking holiday beers and spreading good cheer
Not COVID.
with our year in review. Next, we exercise our respiratory systems and trek along with a woman who climbed to Everest Base Camp. Oh, yeah. Finally, we pull a Dick
Respiratory problems. Get him checked out.
Clark and count down some of our favorite brews from Beardo. That in our usual crack in this episode of Life in 16 Ounces.
Chickadee ching, hee-haw, hee-haw. Dominic the donkey. Chickadee chaw, hee-haw, hee-haw. Dominic. Come on.
What?
You've heard of that
What
song,
the heck
right?
is that from?
It's from the normal Christmas radio plays. It's one of the funniest songs. It's something
I
that's
don't
so
think
strange.
I know that one. I know Cheech and Chong's, thing around the holidays.
Yeah. Oh, hey, what are you doing there? It's coming down there. He's Santa Claus, man. What are you Santa Claus doing, man? Well, this one's just as funny. It's Dominic the Donkey. It's like an Italian Christmas song.
Oh,
Anyway,
my gosh.
I digress.
Oh, speaking of holiday Christmas songs, you know what really just gets my goat?
Oh, that one that you sent? I just get pulled over by the police.
No, not that one.
I was pulled over by the police.
I want a hippopotamus for Christmas.
Oh!
It drives me nuts. I hate that
I heard
song.
it for the first time. Well, with you and the
Gosh.
Dominic the Donkey, I just heard the hippopotamus one just for the first time, and I asked my wife, what the hell is this? Have you heard this before? She said, yeah. She was singing it. And I went, I've never heard it in my 49 years.
It makes me want to punch a hippopotamus.
I want to bring up this, Brandon, that we are together.
And it feels so good.
Yeah. Reunited, and it feels so good. If you don't get the reference, then you're really young.
Probably.
Da-na-na-na-na. Yes, we are together back in the Irish pub at your place.
Mm-hmm.
After you got the black lung.
I was dying.
I got the black lung, Pop.
Actually, it wasn't that bad. It was like having the flu or the cold.
I'm telling you, it's
Same thing.
I tell you, with this COVID thing going on,
Yeah.
it's like people are getting tattoos and you're kind of pressured into getting it, you know? Like almost like nose rings. You're like, oh,
Me too.
You know what? Okay, fine. Just give me the COVID. I want it. Because that's at this point, everyone's getting it. I'm going, well, damn it. I want it too.
So if you get it, does that still mean that you have to get the vaccine? I don't know.
I double digress. Let's move on to beer news. A World War II veteran at 103 years old is making headlines again, which is funny because he made headlines in 2018.
Wait, did he re-up?
Yeah, that's right. He's like, I'm going to jump on the Trump space troopers. I'm going to go fight these sons of going to go fight the Krauts. Well, in 2018, he made headlines for crediting his longevity to his daily intake of a Coors Light.
That's what I use to clean the toilet with.
well, he must get his system flushed out, just like our respiratory systems are doing. But I mean, 2018 he made headlines. Well, guess what? In 2020 he's making headlines again because he's still alive during COVID.
Whoa,
and he's still drinking Coors Light.
that's amazing.
So they Molson Coors, whatever. They gave him a Coors fridge filled with the beer, and merchandise to outfit the old man.
Like a scarf and mittens, or
Yeah, scarf and mittens and blankets and all kinds of stuff, and a sweet ass wheelchair.
they're gonna soon they're gonna give him a casket with Coors Light right on the.
The dude is
sponsored by
the dude is
Coors
still
Light.
walking. I just and we make fun of this, but I would love to be 103 and drinking beers.
Yes.
That'd be amazing. All right, Denver was and is, I guess, voted the 6th best beer city.
I would think that would be a little higher than that. You have Portland on there, or the.
Well, yeah. I mean, I thought San Diego would be as well. So
Yeah.
sorry, San Diego. You guys got screwed, at least on the top 5 side of the house. So Cincinnati, Ohio, Asheville, North Carolina. It's probably because Sierra Nevada's there now.
Oh.
St. Louis, Missouri. Jeez, Budweiser, you think? Portland, Oregon.
It's on there.
Yeah, with all their weird sours and whatever else they do. And Pittsburgh, PA. Again, probably the old school German lager stuff and whatnot.
We're gonna have to do a full tour of all of these places in a Winnebago or something, just down the road.
Well, yeah, we said that. We're going to go jagged lines. And hey, folks, try to track our GPS as we go all over the place. Hey, Lloyd, the Rockies don't look so rocky. So it says that there are 80 breweries, which is the second highest total in the batch of cities that were analyzed. They're saying in Denver, that's 11 breweries per 100,000 residents. And the only thing that held the city back from, I guess, going further up in the ranks is their average price of a pint is $5.
It's the same as it is here.
Okay, where are you going to go get a $5 pint? Most of the time, it really annoys the hell out of me when
7, I guess.
it pisses me off when they have them like 6 or 7, and you go, really? And you're not going to give me 16 ounces? You're going to give me 10 or 9 or whatever in some really strange looking vessel because it's supposed to be served that way?
Well, on a side note, I think, and I just want to put this out there. You ever pick up a 4-pack of some craft beer, and it's like, that'll be $21, $22, please.
I do it every day.
No wonder your wife is pissed.
To the cringe of my wife and my liver.
But if you break it down, it's about the same amount you would be paying if you were going to the local pub.
Yeah, but this has packaging price somehow attached to it, and
true.
Of course the distributor is in there as well. You would think that yes, if you go straight to the source, you should be able to get it cheaper than you would if you're not paying for packaging, you're not paying for delivery,
right.
You're not paying for the distribution of all that. So, yeah, but the average price across the nation, well, actually, in this case, all the cities that were in the study, which is probably across the nation, is $4.59.
You know what? That's a whole lot cheaper than a psychiatrist.
And I would love to go to a place that would go in there and say, yeah, give me a $4.59 pint. Well, who the hell has a $4.59 pint? But yeah, interesting. So take note. If you're not on this list, it's because your pint prices are too high. And it does say pint, so it's kind of weird. Really, sometimes I'm not a pint. But I want to point this out, that in Colorado, actually mentioned, it says in Colorado in general, because there's a bunch of cities that are on that list further up.
Okay.
20 of them have closed so far due to the pandemic. And I'm going to mention these if you're in the Denver area: Thirsty Monk Brewery, Declaration, and Alternation. Some of the ones that fell in battle.
Ooh.
Moving on. Holiday packs. You probably maybe go to your local whatever drink place and try to find what's out there in regards to the
Costco.
Well, yeah, I mean, just I'm saying in general. Sometimes you go to a place and you're excited because there's holiday packs.
Cost plus.
Some of them are not necessarily Christmas themed. They're just simply like, hey, this is what we have as a holiday pack, and now you can get them. Some of them actually make a special effort to put them together. I'll read off a couple.
Brewing.
Well, yeah, New Belgium's got a Folly pack, which is I think their Fat Tire, the Ranger. Rampant Imperial, Snow Day. Well, there's one. Salted Caramel Brownie Brown Ale. Oof, that just made me stop and I think I just drooled over the microphone. Oh, but it does say it's a collaboration with Ben & Jerry's, which I hate now. So, all right, moving on. Schmaltz Brewing is Shtick in a Box, which
Oh, from the SNL skit.
Yeah, and they have a Slingshot, Hop Manna, Messiah Nut Brown Ale, which also sounds quite good. And their ever popular Shaka Khan. No, I'm just kidding. Hanukkah. Pass the beer. And then let's move on. Boulevard Brewing, beautiful place out there in Kansas City, Missouri, has its Imperial Stout in 12-ounce bottles. And then they have things like their Tank 7, the Calling and Telltale Tart, Harpoon, Brewery Snowed In. So they have a Winter Warmer is in there, as well as the UFO Gingerland and some other seasonal beers. Magic Hat, which is what Brandon... Never mind. I'll move on. Okay. But they have Not Quite Pale Ale, Snow Roller, Hoppy Brown Ale, some other Winter Mingle. So yeah, it's pretty interesting to see how some of the breweries really take an extra effort. Sarnax, 12 Beers of Winter, Great Divides Brewing Company, Big Show, Flying Dog, Holiday Collection, Uinta. We had them on the show once.
Uinta.
Uinta.
That's Salt Lake City.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Odell Brewing Company, another phenomenal place. And then Sam Adams, of course, and Sierra Nevada. So a bunch of different options, probably even more maybe this year because of just the pandemic. All right. Speaking of another thing that's kind of pretty cool I saw on the news, Michael Jordan, he loves golf. I think we might all know that.
Sure. Yeah.
His golf course is going to have drones bringing you beer and food.
What?
Pretty cool, right? I mean, hey, there goes my IPA on hole 4 or something.
Where is this located?
I don't know.
Oh,
Probably out in Chicago. I don't know where he is now. But look up Michael Jordan. If you ever want to play on his golf course, you can have drones bring you beer. And I would just do it anyway, just for kicks, S&Gs, right? Hey, bring me my beer. Oh, there it is. You know. Of course, I'd also try to whack the hell out of him. Let's see here. Hey, we're going to be doing the 12. Well, we are doing the 24 beers of Christmas, but this article mentions what they think is the 15 best beers for Christmas. And I've done this. This is what we did before the 1st of December. We both went to our specialty store, found beers that we felt like was seasonal or at least should be drunk during this winter time frame. Let's see if any of these hit home for anybody. Number 15, Platypus is Brewing Kiss My Piney. That one got number 15. Number 14, Blue Owl Plum de Plume. I think we've had Blue Owl before. Sam Adams' Winter Lager. Shiner Holiday Cheer, number 12. Number 9, 10, and 11. For some reason, they have Sierra Nevada Celebration 2020, which I think a lot of people enjoy. Number 9, 10, and 11, I guess this was a bit of a tie. Great Divide Hibernation Ale, which I almost got.
Ooh, where are they out of?
They're out of Colorado.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. St. Arnold, patron saint of brewing. And then number 6, 7, and 8, New Belgium's Accumulation. I think I mentioned them. Tied with Eureka Heights Holly Jolly Yorts or Jorts. I'm going to say Yorts. It's kind of like yogging. It's pronounced yogging. Delirium Noel, which we see all over the place with that pink elephant.
Oh, yes.
And the really interesting colored bottle. And there with Legal Draft Beer Company, Legal Holiday, Prairie Artisan Ales, Christmas Bomb. Don't say that on a plane. Anchor Brewing's Anchor Christmas Ale. They're getting a lot of love this year for their new one, which we talked about last.
The Three Graces.
Yeah. Rogue Santa's Private Reserve Peppermint Bark Milk Stout. Woo! That got an 8 aroma, 8 flavor, 4 on the holiday meter. And number 1, Flensburger Brewery Winterbach. There you go. If you can find that, boy. I don't even see that. Oh, wow. Look at that. That has the Grolsch top where you pry it open and the top comes off.
Oh, the stopper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, fancy stuff right there. So there you go, Brandon. It's some of beer news for you.
Excellent.
You're listening to Life in 16 Ounces. What's in your pint?
All right, so we are going to traverse into some funny stuff regarding the holiday season.
Yes.
Gifts, toys. These are some of the best and worst gifts. Now, I've looked up. This is actually pretty good.
Okay.
Have you ever seen this? It's called Prank Pack My First Fire. And it's from your boys. I think you posted something, the Pranko people.
Yeah. Okay, yes.
So it has a picture of a child sitting next to a makeshift, looks like a very toyish looking fire pit.
Okay.
My first fire, ages 2 and up.
Is this an SNL thing?
No.
Okay.
It's on Amazon, dude. You can buy it for $8. It comes with an 18-inch fire ring, a 12-inch poker. Wait for it. Wait for it. A 4 Endura logs and an 8-ounce fuel can. And it's a little kid staring at this fire. It's awesome. All right. Explore the wonders of fire lighting.
I almost set my parents' living room on fire when I was a kid. I can remember it vividly.
But doing what?
I was throwing matches, being stupid.
Throwing matches in your living room.
You know, like
yeah, I know how you flick them.
Yeah, we called it the Halley's Comet or whatever.
Oh, jeez.
Right? And yeah,
I don't know what the hell.
God, I was so stupid.
That is pretty dumb. I mean, well, granted, we also lit our farts on fire. So, and they were pretty good if you can catch them. Now with the technology of cameras, you can catch those suckers and you can do slow-mo. What about a pillow cover sequin pillowcase? You know those ones where you kind of rub your hand one way and then rub your hand the other way?
Sure, yeah.
Well, this one, you can rub it and it reveals Nicolas Cage's face.
What the heck?
All right. How about this? P is for pterodactyl, the worst alphabet book ever.
I've seen that one. That's a good one.
That is funny.
Yep.
Because the kids that you're teaching going,
That's not what that sounds like at all.
Hold on a second. That's not right. I love that one. All right. How about plant urinal? There's a picture of a guy. He's taking this is what people do sometimes over at my pavilion. They're drinking too much and like, can I go to the? Like, just go around the corner. Go around the corner and piss in the in the yard in the plant area. But don't piss on the lime or lemon tree.
Okay.
But there's a guy pissing. It looks like he's at work, and it says, "Turn your liquid gold into leafy greens." And
what?
Yeah, there's like a little tiny urinal. You can kind of stick it into a plant, and you piss into that, and that's what feeds the. Again, it's another Pranko thing, novelty gift. It's for $8.
I won't be buying or sampling any of their.
It says it's great for gals too.
Yeah.
How about potty fisher toilet fishing game? So as you're like me,
is most of this list toilet stuff?
Yes,
we're
ending on a crappy note, not a high note. We'll get into the high note later.
Jeez.
But it's a guy sitting on the toilet and he's just fishing and he's passing the time while he's passing the time.
Passing something.
I would have given this to my dad, the best farter ever. Whoops, I mean father.
Oh, I have that.
Oh, you do?
I do. Yeah, it's a mug.
Yeah, well, look at that.
Yep.
Look at you. You have one of the worst gifts ever.
My daughter.
Well, speaking of that, liquid ass.
That's what happens when I drink too much coffee.
And beer, for that matter, and having McDonald's, for instance, late at night.
Geez.
Yeah, yes, you know that's going to be hitting you the next morning. So this liquid ass is $1,300. My gosh, $13. And it reviews is 19,000 people and a 4.5 star. Oh my gosh!
What is it? What is
it? It's a fart prank.
Okay.
You can't. Why is farts so funny? It was great. All right. And anyway, let's move on to a highly collectible novelty paper, toilet paper with whose face on it? Trump.
Oh, of course.
Trump. And he looked like he's kissing, so he can actually kiss your ass. That was $10. I'm sure they've probably sold a bunch of those. I'll probably get my mom that. Donald Trump kiss prank funny joke toilet paper. You got some crappy socks. Here we go. You can get a sweet necklace. I mean, if your loved one loves jewelry, get them this beautiful accented piece. I mean, you can get it from QVC, but please call our number, email us right now. We'll send you, no, not one, but two. If you answer right now in the next 15 minutes, we'll send you 2020 dumpster fire Christmas hanging ornament. Basically, it's a fire in a dumpster with 2020 on it. So what do you got?
Well, I've got the top, at least the top 10, maybe probably more. All right, so, let me give you a couple of gifts that you can give your beer lover this Christmas. Number one.
Amazon right now.
The Craft Beer Club beer gift subscription. Well, that's pretty simple. I mean, you can probably find those anywhere
absolutely.
You go. But always a good gift.
Always.
The
sound like we're on QVC right now.
National Geographic Atlas of Beer.
Oh, like you can find this beer, this IPA, in the third world country of Uganda.
That's right. Yeah. It tells you all about the different style beers
The
out there.
tribe in the Amazon really enjoys this hazy IPA.
This next one, I kind of have to do a plug. I will say that Growler Works has a UKEG pressurized growler.
Yeah, if we can get one of those from them, we'll test it out and let you know.
Bet.
But yes, absolutely.
However,
is it the one that's copper, right?
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful.
However, I'm going to also insert,
Ooh,
if you will.
Wait a minute. Wait for it.
Yeah.
Wait for it. Okay.
The Square Keg. Remember we had
Oh,
the
that's
gentleman
right.
on the show? An amazing
Square
product.
kegs.
I've got one coming to the house real soon, and I'll do a review on that, let you know all the particulars. The Skyline Workshop Beer Cap State Map. We've seen these before.
Oh, yeah, those are kind of cool. If you travel a lot.
I think we could probably definitely fill one up from
During an
California.
RV trip.
Oh, yeah.
We'll definitely do that. We should probably get into a little bit more of our year in review of some of our favorite shows
Yes.
from the past 21 episodes, and then eventually get into our story. But you know what? I'm ready for another beer.
All right.
Brandon, I want to spend a little time
With me? Okay.
hearkening back.
Hearkening.
I might spend too much time with you, actually. I think we share too much. But yeah, I want to hearken back to use one of your prohibited, banded.
Oh, it's because I said it
words.
twice in one show?
Oh, come on. Go back and listen to every single episode, and I'll prove you wrong. But speaking of going back and listening to episodes,
Yes.
certainly starting in January 2020, we changed our look, our feel, our approach, and we introduced Beer Dome. And in that episode, we mentioned that we were going to have probably a Royal Rumble at the end of the year, which I think eventually evolved into a massive day and night of day drinking, which basically means a lot of just drinking in general.
We normally don't start until noonish.
The reason why I think I want to explain this is, you never know when you're in that ultimate mood for drinking, and this has become a bit of a chore, a bit of a job to get this show going. And if you go back and listen to a few episodes, you can clearly tell one of us is drunk, one of us is slurring their speech, and and I don't know which ones are key. But I know last episode I was slurring.
Oh, I'm not going to fault you on that because one of the beers you had was like 11 point some odd %, which is ridiculous.
And that balanced well with you being sick and with no taste buds. It was perfect.
Yes.
Yin and yang, Laurel and Hardy, Cheech and Chong. But so we will not have a Royal Rumble. I don't know. We just had a cherry chocolate stout, or a chocolate cherry stout, however you want to say it, dyslexic people, from Firestone Walker. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a seasonal release. This is the first year that they've had that.
Yeah, we just had another stout from Crown and Hops from Inglewood, California. Inglewood is up to no good. And their Urban Anomaly stout, 6%, very delicious. So who knows if we're going to do this ultimate thing? But the another point I want to make is we had this idea of bringing all the Beer Dome winners together and having this gigantic return to their flavor profiles, their highlighting them. But and I guess we kind of will. So let's just do that. Let's just kind of go over some of the. Well, not some of them. We'll start from January.
Okay.
Which I think was, I had cornhole, which we kind of had fun
You
with.
did what?
Yeah, I cored your cornhole. No, I'm not insulting you. So that was fun, and especially the video was actually kind of good, and almost began the creative sparking of some of our later video escapades.
Yeah. Well, what do you want first? You want the
Well, what did you cover in January? Didn't you freeze or something?
I did. KW Recovery Lab
There you
and Richard Prestia in January. And I did go to KW and had one of their cryo treatments.
That's right.
Down to 200 and some odd negative degrees Fahrenheit.
And did you feel really different
Froze
after about that?
Uh,
If you went right now, what would it do for you? Anything? Because you're not running anymore, are you?
no, I haven't ran in a while. What they say it's supposed to do is oxygenate your blood, and it did do that, and I did sleep really well that night. I would do it again if I had the,
Well, I'm just saying maybe this is a chance to say, well, maybe we should return to KW
Sure.
and do it, and maybe can we drink
full
during
day.
the
Ooh, that'd be nice if we got into their infrared sauna and actually had a couple of brews. But
Yes.
I don't.
Okay.
It's probably
Let's try it out.
forbidden or something.
So who won the Beer Dome?
So in January, old number 38 stout from North Coast
North Coast, okay,
was the winner. Yeah.
that's right. And then we had you had that Port Townsend Port. We had fun with that. So February, I want to say I remember February being and things like that. Mark.
Oh.
Because we started finding some guests had, just like we do, some idiosyncrasies or clutch words, or what did I call them? Quidlicalies? Where you kind of latch onto something and say it over and over as just the way that you speak. But yeah, and things like that was Mark. He was the IPA guy. Pirate. Yeah, absolutely. Who did you have?
I had.
Well, you and I went to. This is one of those moments that you and I went out together, and we went to Big Stump Brewery.
Was that February?
Yeah, it was February.
Gosh, I'm so confused on this whole. This whole year's a blur.
No, better be. And we spoke with Alex again, and they're actually, interesting to go back to them as well because they were going to venture into Napa for 2020. And of course, by February, the COVID situation wasn't really kicking in. It was just starting up, and people were like, I don't know about all this.
Now I remember what I did. I talked to Patrick Chin from the
modern public house.
The Market.
The Market, yeah.
Where they have a whole ton of different, they've got rare beers that you can buy individually. They do a lot of barbecue supply stuff, and they make their own
How are they doing?
Ceviche and stuff. Oh, they're doing really well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember talking to Alex, and it was funny because it just sounded like he was drunk as we talked to him, which is totally understandable as a brewery owner. But
sure,
I bet you probably just makes phenomenal beer, drunk or sober.
And then speaking of beers, February the winner was another one that you had come up with, and I think we've had this a couple of times, but it was the Mermaid's Red from Coronado Brewing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's certainly a classic and staple of that San Diego area. Yeah. Okay.
March. We marched into March, and that's when the whole hit the fan. Really.
Yeah, and if you listen to our video that we did for March, it was pretty good. We actually had Brandon trying to test out how people were reacting to the COVID situation, or actually it was coronavirus at the time, is what mainly people were calling it.
Yeah.
But we had a funny ass intro to the March show. And that almost was part of hey, we should maybe do this more, which obviously we did. But I want to bring up something because I think Brandon's definitely gotten better at it. But I just remember you asking people about the future. Can you tell me about the future of such and such?
Someone has to have a DeLorean that's going to go 88 miles an hour. Come on.
Doc, what is it, Marty? What is it? Doc, I don't know, Doc. We're going to mess up the timeline, Doc. So we didn't have a beer dome in March.
No, we had several Irish beers that
American
we had
and
people try.
Irish.
Yes.
Yeah. At the Pavilion blind taste test. Yeah, that was good. So April, despite probably the pandemic ramping up, we went back out again.
Yes, we did.
And we visited Dying Breed together.
Yes.
That was pretty interesting.
Before they had opened,
yes.
actually.
And
their
you said they're
grand
doing
opening.
really well.
Oh, ridiculous. And when the gentleman treated us like princes when we were there, anything that we wanted, and wow.
Yeah, definitely need to go back because
I don't remember much. It was. I mean, we had a great
I
time.
know. There's trays that they brought out with beer, and they were like, blah blah blah. No, stop. Try another one. Try this. Try that. We're like, oh my god, here we go. But we were up for the task.
So that was also. Was that also
Jason?
Yeah, from
That's
True Symmetry.
Yeah.
Gosh, dang, that guy's got good, amazing beers.
Yes, and he's still rocking it. The True Symmetry is doing quite well. During the pandemic, he kind of floats back in and out on the patio, in and out. But they just did a beautiful tribute to Tasty. I guess was well known across in the brewing world, to the point where Jamil from Heretic and Jason and another home brewer got together and they made a IPA, sort of in tribute to Tasty, who passed away this year.
And actually, we featured True Symmetry. In fact, they were the winner that month.
Oh, they went against Dying Breeds, though, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. So Beer Picks and Chill was the winner.
All right. Yeah, they were. I think we did like a to-go feature.
That's right.
Like beer dome feature. So May, we went out again together. We went to Sacramento.
Well, but it was a ghost town, though. There was no one around.
It was. Well, I remember driving up to Sacramento, and you said you would be dressed as the Booze Cruise captain.
Yes, he made an appearance on the show.
And you were gonna. I said, you know what? I bet he's gonna be down. That was what the plan was. You were gonna be down near the water, near the river, and you were gonna somehow commandeer a boat.
Well, Sac Brew Boat is who we were covering, and we were going to take a little tour of the Sacramento River, but it kind of
that would have been perfect. But we were bamboozled. You were landlubbered and shored up but luckily we met the guys over at Brew Bike.
Sac Brew Bike instead. Yeah.
Yep. And had a wonderful meeting with them, and then including a follow-on with NorCal Trippin'. So that was pretty fun. I also was able to speak with Sacto Mofo. They were at the food truck industry, which, again, we wanted to point them out as being a catalyst to assisting breweries during the pandemic, which, nowadays you go around and they're still doing the whole thing of like, you got to get food, go get it from a food truck. But at the same time, they were reporting that there'd be still quite a few of those companies that were not gonna make it, and you can only imagine just extending this into 2021. It's just only gonna knock more out.
And lock in step with the food trucks, or what comes to my mind anyway. The winner that month was Sublime Mexican Lager.
Oh, because we did. That's right, because we was Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, which nobody was, I don't think, really celebrating. But
no.
All right, so let's
move into June.
Yeah,
right?
Let's go to June, which isn't.
This was our Ready Aim Fire.
Yeah, it was. This is one that Brandon planned and planned and planned.
I did, and what I learned from June was how to survive the apocalypse.
That guy was awesome.
That
guy was awesome. I met up with what I thought was my cousin, was Richard Wade, but not the Richard that I know. It's another Richard Wade.
Look at all those Richards out
So
there.
there's a whole load of Richards, man. We're not talking about my cousins either. Hey, we even mentioned a Richard earlier on. Is Dick Clark.
That's right.
So Richard Wade, the Pacific Dart Association president, and we definitely need to circle back to him because we said we were going to, and
Yes.
we were so excited about it.
Yeah, you're right.
And we need to get more into darts. Certainly after we have maybe 500 or 600 beers.
Speaking of beers, again, the winner
This was not good.
that month
No.
was the Blood Orange
This is horrible.
Michelado from Slow Brew.
Yeah, but only because the one that you brought to the table, and I want to mention this, is the Carolina Reaper.
No, that's. Oh no, wait. No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
that was right.
it was a
Yeah,
Carolina Reaper. And I will tell you this, it was so difficult to drink. And I just found a really cool show on, I don't know, like Netflix or something in it, maybe Hulu. But it talks about you're the champion. And it's a funny thing because we are the champions, and it has the most oddest, strangest competitions in the world.
Oh,
And one of them is chili eating. Yeah, do you see that? And it's the guy. I bet you it's the guy that breeds, harvests, grows. There you go. Carolina Reapers, and supplies these to these competitions. There's one guy. I think his pain threshold is non-existent because, it's just like have some people are just they don't feel pain, or they can climb really high, or they can run really far, or they do stuff and it doesn't affect them like the rest, like 99% of the other population.
Is it immortality or something like that? Or
Yeah, he's a Highlander.
No. The beer.
No,
was
it wasn't immortality.
Something to that effect.
Wow.
Ality, something, and whatever.
Okay, well, we can.
It was hot.
Yes. So, I just want to definitely bring that up, that if you like spicy beer, listen to our June episode and let us know how you can finish off a pint of that stuff.
Oh, my gosh. Moving into July, this was where we...
Yeah, together again. We went out to Sacramento
Did we?
At Ease Brewing Company.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
You were able to find this place on your way up or down from dropping off your kid at the airport. And it turns out this gentleman is a retired Army colonel. Yep,
that's correct.
Mike Conrad, I think. He was kind enough during the pandemic to say, come on in. And it was that time situation where you could still go in and have beers. I don't think.
Well, it was outside seating. We went outside.
Exactly.
We had to buy food in order to be there.
Okay, well that
was the thing.
Yeah, and that's why we bring a bag of Cheez-Its. But yeah, we had a good time learning how a soldier who decides, hey, you know what, I want to retire and build a brewery. How he got on, and he was doing pretty good. Well, kind of curious again about stopping by and seeing how he is.
Yeah, and then we also featured the combat flip flop guys out of Washington.
Yeah, you grabbed a winner there. Great company that's looking at ways to make the world a better place, grabbing things that certainly scar it and burn it, and turning it into something beautiful.
And they're great products as well.
Oh, what I wanted to bring up was, maybe this was like hopefully this might have been the epicenter of our video. Because I don't know how I convinced Brandon to do this, but if you watched our July episode video, it was, we videoed that thing in the shower together. And if you're like listening going, what? You guys were in the shower together? Yeah, yes.
Check out our YouTube channel. Life in 16
and
ounces.
Subscribe and hit the
Yes.
bell so you don't miss any videos or whatever people say these days on their videos. But that was one of those. We're going to put together a blooper reel of some of these
my
videos that
gosh.
we have because it was painful. You can see Brandon cringing, me rubbing his back with a loofah. All right.
I was crying. I was laughing so hard.
All right, what was the beer dome?
So Independence Day from Auburn Alehouse was
That's
the
right,
winner
July
for
4th
July.
thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So jumping into August, I played some Ding Dong Ditch.
Which I did not know. I've never heard of that term.
Oh.
But yeah, I learned about Ding Dong Ditch. and we had a 4-wheel drive club. I don't know. We were invited, and we should have. We didn't go, but I think eventually we need to do that as well. And what about the Ding Dong Ditch guy? Is he still going?
Yeah.
strong?
So the Turlock area beer trolls are still active. They're doing their thing. Of course, everything slows down during the pandemic, but what better a time to go ahead and to give somebody something on their porch. I
Holiday.
mean, it's great. Great, amazing stuff there. In fact,
You should have added that to your top 10 gifts.
That's true. That's true. This month, the winner actually was a beer that Jay, the gentleman from Turlock Area Beer Trolls, was extremely familiar with. It was the Maduro Brown Ale from Cigar City Brewing out of Florida.
Okay.
And he's a big Bucks
Oh,
fan.
that's right.
remember?
He's a Tampa Bay guy.
Yep.
But that was also another video plug here because we were trying to be more responsible as adults and explain, hey, this is what happens when you drink and drive. we got a little crazy with our beers inside my truck. So that was fun. That was a fun video to shoot. Now, again, that was August.
September.
September. Again, we went out together.
Great food, great beer, great conversation. That's the notes that I had for September.
Because we ran into this guy earlier on another episode, and we came across Julio at Lefty's Tap Room, and the guy was just perfect. I mean, he had experience, history, the business acumen to
chock full of knowledge.
Oh, and we just said, dude, we got to talk to you in the future. And he's like, let's do it.
The future.
Yeah. We said, can you tell us what's happening in the future? No, that's Brandon's line. So eventually we locked him into a position, and he was one of the first people to actually be featured on the show doing our parts. And then, of course, I think we might have pushed the envelope too far there, Maverick, and we got a few beers lined up, and this is where Brandon, he doesn't remember too much from that episode.
I pretty much slid into oblivion, but I do want to recall that Full Circle was one of our favorites with their juicy IPA. Definitely check that one out if you can find it.
What's interesting now is, and I'll bring this up later in the show, we have our beer dome ring. We have our beer dome ring adorned with all the breweries that we've covered in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot. It's actually a ridiculous amount. But trying to, when you go to the store and you look at the cans, you might see a can that might catch your eye. And of course, if you're looking for a particular style, it is interesting for us to grab it, pull it down and say, oh, this looks neat. And then turn it and go, oh, we've already covered, fill in the blank brewery. So
October.
Scary.
This was, like you've said before, it's my favorite month, and really, it is one of my favorite episodes. And the reason why is that we covered topics that we had never touched before, ever. You doing the ghost hunter,
Charlie.
Gosh, dang, that was awesome. I didn't like it myself, but it was a really cool story, I thought.
I was pushing him to get really scary, but he's like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. I took up the whole Irish folklore with the banshee, and that was a lot of fun as well.
Well, we had fun with the video as well. I got slimed. We did all kinds of odes to some of our favorite movies.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's interesting because now you can look at our October episode and then go back a year and listen to what the 2019 one was and how we probably normally would have approached it. The scary house, which I didn't get to go with you.
Yeah.
And we probably would have done it this year. But it is pretty crazy how we've figured out a way to so far plow through this pandemic, figure out ways to get out there, certainly say screw you to any shelter-in-place orders and be one of the worst violators out there. Well, I mean, I wear my mask. Even when I sip on my milkshakes, but I see I've cut a hole in my mask. Yeah. It's really convenient. All right, so we did have Oh yeah, we had an Oktoberfest party
Again,
at the
I
pavilion.
think that's why September, October timeframe is one of my favorite.
It moves fast too.
Oh man, so
Life moves fast.
Yeah.
Ferris Bueller.
Oktoberfest,
Great beer.
lots of beer.
Oh my gosh.
Dust Bowl Brewing, their Oktoberfest was the overall winner of I think we had six
it was a lot.
different beers that we sampled.
So last month.
Oh yeah,
I don't remember too much.
I just
We
know
did a remote.
this whole thing has been an experience, an experiment. Also, we've learned so much with just equipment and with media and with technology that we were able to do a show remotely, which was very odd to me to not be able to have you, 6 feet away from me.
Well, 5.5.
Yeah, who's counting?
Well, I took a measure.
Oh, did you?
Measure, yeah. Just
Oh.
whole COVID thing.
But we were able to overcome, again, like you said, those things that kind of maybe have gotten in the way in the past.
And I'm going to throw this out because I've always wanted to say this too. We've started the show saying we've never claimed to be experts at almost anything, and I think we're still in that boat. There's a lot of times I go back and listen, and I'm like, what the hell did I just say? No, that's completely wrong. There was so many things. I remember you asking about alpha hops and beta hops. There's one of those, and some things about how the brewing process is done, or just there's stuff that I go back. That was not correct, Paul. So again, this is my way of saying we might not necessarily be correct all the time, but we're learning.
And we stayed on the East Coast for this past episode as well.
Yes, and shout out to Millhouse, not Brandon, but Millhouse from Manor Hill Brewing. By the way, Millhouse, where's our I Got Your Six? I'm still waiting for it.
Yeah, it's like the check is in the mail.
Yeah,
right?
it should be in the mail.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's coming soon.
Right. Well, so one of the we had porters and stouts, and Sticky Maple was one of the winners.
Oh yeah,
from the brewery.
Which
Yeah.
Brandon just showed me another can from them here, and I was like, no,
Lord.
put it away. We need to at least stay under sevens. Yeah, maybe
that's-
sevens during the show, just so we at least know what the hell we're doing.
Yeah, that one is 11 point some odd percent.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
And maybe we need to find somebody who's Charlie from the October episode, that he's an imperial guy. I mean, this is what he loves to drink.
He's in Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Well, we should go down with Mr. Snyder, sit down by the fire, and
What? Let him get drunk, or let him get us drunk, and then he goes, "Boys, let's go gambling." Oh
no!
Then it will be like The Hangover.
Oh my goodness. Well, so what are we looking forward to in the new year? What?
Well, you as the sort of the producer of the show and the one that does most of the editing, if not all of it right now, you want to sort of change things up a bit. We are still trying to find ways to entertain everyone, to connect with everyone, which is so difficult. But I think we're going to see a bit of a show shift to a certain degree. I don't think we want to turn to a complete just drinking.
No.
We thought about just saying, hey, that's all we do is let's just focus on beer. But there's people out there that have really cool stories to tell. We just need more help finding them, so we can, feature them on the show, and at the same time, we'll filter in the beer part. We'll go out and we'll find the people that are making the amazing brews. We'll try to bring you all the latest news if we can. But again, we're life.
Yeah.
Life in 16 ounces. Stuff comes up, crap happens. Hell, I don't even know what's going to happen next month.
But what we need from you is for you to spread the word. Tell your friends, family, whoever, to go ahead and to to support us on lifein16ounces.com. Again, we're all over the social media stuff. You hear us talk about it at the end of the show. You'll hear it again.
We're old people trying to do social media. The hell is this new thing they got now? I don't know. How do you post this? What do you hit the button?
LinkedIn, Parler, Swell is a new one. I don't think we need a TikTok account, but I mean, look, we're willing to meet you wherever you're at, and I think that's important as well going forward.
But as we wrap this up and get back to the heart of the matter, well, I guess the heart of the matter is what we're doing right now, which is drinking. Moving into 2021, we don't really dwell too much on where we are in regards to numbers. We want to have the quality and bring it to you the right way. We're pretty happy with where we are and how we've progressed since episode 1. And we just want to say thank you so much to everyone who listens to these shows, to interacting with us, to checking out our social media posts, to making funny comments and looking at our stupid videos on YouTube. Thank you. Absolutely, thank you so much for bringing us up to 2021.
Yeah, your feedback is so welcome to us. We really do want to know what you think about the show. So there it is.
Hey, dude.
Yeah.
Let's go into the story.
All right. Hey.
And get yourself another beer.
I'm going to do that.
All right.
Here we go. All right, so you are going to end us for this year on a high note. Is that correct?
Yep, on a high note. Oh, wait a minute, not that kind of high note.
Not 420. Come on.
High note. No, not that kind of high note either.
No, Freddie Mercury.
We're going to try that. We're going to do another one of those Mount Shasta Ranger high.
What?
Remember that? We talked about that? We kept on bringing up high.
Oh.
Well, we brought it out. We brought the little play on words back again. But
so
yes.
You've done a couple of stories on peak baggers and people who have reached
because it's one of my
tops.
passions. Yes, I love it.
But this one's kind of a little bit
it's a mixed,
different, right?
Yeah. It's certainly a bucket list item for many people because if you look at the numbers, thousands upon thousands of people do this each year. And for those who are, well, when I mention the word Everest, it invokes many things. In regards to those who have watched the movies, read the books, look at the photos, all that stuff, this certainly touches and it pulls on certain heartstrings of adventure and passion and excitement and tragedy.
Well, there's not that many people who either have the time, money, or
true. Well, Sherri does.
Drive.
Sherri does.
Okay.
Now, Sherri is. I'd like to say that I met Sherri during a half Ironman, but I don't do Ironmans because I can't swim, bike, or run. So I don't think that makes me eligible for any of that. No,
we'll get
kidding.
There down the road, possibly. We'll look into that.
Yeah,
stuff.
we're in the 60-year-old category. So Sherri Ng is her name, and she does half Ironmans. She, very much like I do, she enjoys bagging peaks and exercising at altitude. She's from California, but she frequents the Sierra Nevadas quite often. And I caught her after she just returned from a trek to Everest. I'm going to preface this by saying I believe she went in the first 2 weeks of November in 2019.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that might make sense. Or
Is
maybe
that-
2018.
Is that a good month to go in? Is November or?
Well, yeah. Well, according to her, you'll hear her mention things like the weather and also the crowds, which I'm sure there is a bit of an off season regarding the amount of people that arrive and do this. But at the same time, this is also, so if you know everything about Everest, and if you don't, guess what? I'm about to tell you.
Yes.
Because I've read many, many books about this. Typically, Everest is climbed. I know that the climbers, for the most part, gather around the Everest Base Camp around the April time frame, I would say. Maybe a little earlier. I don't know. I just know there's sometimes where they stay there for 3 months or more.
That's insane. And kind of going over this story, already the notes of it, the story. I could not believe that 3 months people stay at the base camp. That's insane.
Yeah, you're looking at there's a huge window of opportunity, and this has been scientifically proven by meteorologists and obviously years and years of climbing. I think the first ascent of Everest was in 53 by Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay. But there's also some controversy regarding the first ascent, which could have been by Mallory and Irvine in 1924. But they never came back from their attempt. So there's really cool videos and research being done about, actually they believe they discovered the bones of Mallory. But again, they still don't actually know. Did he make it to the top and died on the way down? Either way, they're tons of accolades go towards Hillary and Tenzing Norgay. Matter of fact, I'll even mention it in the story.
So what would be a good book for listeners to read over about maybe the treks of Everest to get people kind of excited about that?
All right. Well, Sherri and I talked about this, off the interview, but the biggest one was the 1996, I believe, tragedy, which John Krakauer wrote about in Into Thin Air, which was a phenomenal book, honestly. And then, of course, it was made into a movie you can see on, I think, Netflix or something. Anatoly, I forgot his last name. He was a Russian climber, just ridiculous, crazy, fit guy. But he wrote something called The Climb, which I also read, and Bokreev, I think it was his last name. Another great book. There's Everest, the West Ridge by Tom Horns. I can't even remember these last names. And then, of course, what I thought was phenomenal was Reinhold Messner, The Crystal Horizon. Just there's tons of beautiful books. I think one of the guys, Chris Boddington, did Everest the Hard Way. Another great book that I read about. Just it's insane how these climbers, men and women, old and young, massive groups or solo, have taken on the highest mountain in the world, which last time I checked, it was 29 feet. It might have changed a couple of hundred feet based on how things move in geographical and technology and all that stuff. But what's funny about it is I think don't airliners fly like at around 35,000 feet or something? It's crazy how close that is. Anyway, after reading all that, of course, I talked to Sherri and she got me all excited.
So how did she get into this? Why did she want to do it? I guess it would be the question. What was her motivation?
I think she's a bit of a bucket list person. She's seen the movies, she's read the books. I mean, she knows who, like for instance, Scott Fisher is, who at one point was one of the phenomenal guides that had been doing great stuff in leading. I think Mountain Madness was their name. Expeditions up Everest and other places for many years, and drew a reputation for being a bit of a crazy, outgoing kind of guy, and people loved him. And he was on that 96 expedition, and he was one of the climbers that died. So she brought his name up, but Sherri's was mentioning things like Aconcagua and Machu Picchu, and I mean, it sounds like she likes to travel the world and go to interesting places, climb around, just do different types of exercises. For instance, like I said, half marathons in different countries. So what was funny, again, I got way ahead of myself talking to Sherri, and because we were talking the same language when it comes to trying to bag peaks. And I just said, well, just give me a bit about your philosophy in regards to how you tackle the altitude situation. Obviously, we don't live there. in that type of range. And how do you even train to go up Everest or to Everest, for that matter? And so this is what she said about just her approach to altitude.
I've spent time in Tahoe, and I exercise at altitude. So, I think it's not really a matter of, of your fitness. It's just, I think it's really physiology. I mean, some people just can operate better on the altitude than others. So going slow and steady is definitely the way to go when you're, ascending into the altitude. I did notice that the younger kids, would charge up ahead, and that didn't serve them well. A lot of them did get altitude sickness. My travel partner and I, who were the two oldest in the group, did not get altitude sickness because we went slow and steady. And that's what you have to do when you're ascending, is just take your time. And we really were trekking only 5 or 6 miles each day, but it was just a matter of keeping us at a slow and steady pace and not try to rush it.
So one of the things that, as she was talking, really brought me back to this guy his name Ed Vestiers. I might be saying his last name wrong, but he's a mountain climber that's world renowned for his lung capacity. He's gotten like medically proven that his lung capacity is twice that of a normal human being's.
So he can hold his breath for like 5 minutes underwater.
Well, and that's a different kind of style.
Oh.
Maybe he can. But what he can do is he can go up above what they call the death zone, which I think is roughly 24 or 26,000 feet. And it's where a normal human would require an oxygen tank on their back and on a face mask, not like COVID, but on their face to inject oxygen just to keep them sane, keep them awake, keep them breathing. Because at that certain level, every minute or whatever you spend up there, you basically your body's dying. And this guy can go past that point and has summited Everest a few times without what they call supplemental oxygen.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy insane. And that's another thing that a lot of climbers, these crazy world-class climbers do. There is, hey, yeah, I can bag that peak, but can you bag it without using supplemental oxygen? So we talked a little bit about that. And then, of course, I said, well, come on, take us into the first days of arriving. Because I think she flew from San Francisco to Istanbul to Kathmandu.
Kathmandu is a crazy busy city. It's pretty chaotic with a lot of traffic and motorcycles, and there's no rhyme or reason to the traffic pattern. There's no street signs. It's a pretty crazy, chaotic place, but it's a lot of fun. There's lots of places to shop and little bazaars and whatnot, and places where you can pick up the local wares, and you can also pick up anything you need for your trek. So you can get knockoff North Face jackets and Patagonia sweaters and things like that, and trekking poles, which is what I did. I didn't bring my own trekking poles, but picked up a pair for about $10 of Lecky knockoffs. It lasted me the whole trip, and then that was about it. But better than bringing mine from home. So anything you could possibly need for your trek, you can get at Kathmandu.
She arrives in Lukla. By the way, that airport is also known as the Tenzing Hillary Airport, after the people that ascended to the mountain the first time, according to some people. But yes, most dangerous airport. That is 9,334 feet. And when you look up photos of Lukla, and then from anywhere from after that Sherri describes, it is a land time forgot. But yeah, check this out. They paved. Now remember, I just mentioned the first ascent of this mountain was in 1953. 1953, the first time they paved that airport runway was in 2001.
Whoa.
Yeah, right. So they've been taking off and landing on that crazy sloped angle for 40 plus years. Yeah, pretty cool. So on to, well, here's Sherri explaining the next place they go to.
So the first day was from Lukla to Phat Thing, and then the second day was from Phat Thing to Namche Bazaar. Namche Bazaar is amazing. I mean, it's almost like a little a town right in the middle of the mountainside. I mean, there's restaurants and hotels and cafes and a movie theater, just tucked away inside the mountains. I mean, it's amazing how they even built that place.
Now, I think I got this right. It's Namche Bazaar, right?
Yeah, good job.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what the heck? It's in the middle of nowhere.
It's in the middle
It's
of
a
nowhere.
Frickin' city.
Exactly.
What is going on?
Yeah, that place is the place along this trek that is built up and given, I don't know why, but for some reason, maybe it has the room, maybe it's sort of centrally located. It's roughly 8 to 11,000 feet. And yeah, when you watch all the videos, this is where they stop and they really kind of settle in, get things acclimated, get things figured out, maybe pick up additional pieces.
I don't think I
watch
would
a
leave.
movie.
Yeah,
Get pizza.
yeah. I don't think I would leave. I'd be
Oh,
like,
come on.
Look at this.
The
This is
mountains are
perfect.
calling, Brandon.
I'm gonna hang up.
Why would you climb that? Because it's there. I asked her, tell me a little bit more about the tour group. Tell me a little bit about who is part of this trekking group that you're with.
Tour group was 15 people, pretty diverse international group. My friend and her daughter and her daughter's boyfriend, we were the only 4 Americans. We had folks from Ireland, Scotland, Germany, England, Australia, and the Netherlands. So a very international group, all ranging in the, I would say, late 20s, early 30s to us old ladies and pulling up the rear. So our guide was Pasang Sherpa. He was, and I'll note that Sherpa, so most people think that anybody who schleps your stuff is a Sherpa. That's actually not true. So Sherpa is actually a tribe, and you're not called a Sherpa unless you actually are of that clan or that tribe, the Sherpa tribe. So Pasang Sherpa, our guide, who actually is of the Sherpa tribe. The others who schlep our stuff and carry our stuff, they're from different tribes or different clans, and they're generically called porters. So you wouldn't actually call them Sherpas because they're not Sherpa. These porters were fairly, petite men, but amazingly strong. I mean, each of our bags were 22 pounds, and one of them would carry 3 of our bags plus their own gear, and usually in flip-flops or some kind of not very sturdy shoes. They were simply amazingly strong individuals.
So if you are listening, of course you're listening, duh. But if you're wondering about where is she staying, what is she eating, Sherri, take it away.
So we're staying at these, what they call tea houses or guest houses, which is actually a very generous name for these places. They're pretty rudimentary, rustic. They look, they look great on the outside, but the inside is pretty much 4, plywood walls and 2 platform wooden beds with a very thin mattress on top. So, it wasn't exactly luxury accommodations. We have, 2 people to a room and then a bathroom down the hall, which, sometimes worked and sometimes didn't work. There was, no hot water. It was all, cold running water. We had to obviously filter or purify, any water that we drank or buy bottled water, which, we tried not to do because of the plastic bottles and the waste that it produces. But, so these guest houses would, it's pretty much a concrete building with, wooden walls on the inside. It would have typically a dining area on the ground floor, where they would serve meals. The menus were ironically and interestingly always the same. No matter where you went, it was always the same thing on the menu. So you'd have things like noodles or Sherpa stew, which was kind of a bland tasting stew with cabbage and carrots and noodles in it. I personally avoided eating meat. I just didn't want to. I was very concerned and very careful about, food poisoning. And thankfully, I didn't actually get any food poisoning, so that was good. I was one of the few people who didn't get food poisoning or altitude sickness. So I was fortunate and thankful for that. After a while, I started just ordering like fried eggs and because I felt like I needed some protein, also some fried eggs and toast or something just to try to, get some protein in me. But I think I lost at least a few pounds on that trip just because I wasn't eating, the heavy meats and whatnot that I might usually eat. We drank a lot of ginger lemon tea, which helped soothe the stomach. So that was good.
I'm thinking, Brandon, if I ever feel like I am gaining a keg versus a 6-pack in my stomach,
That's just COVID talking.
well, I might even jump on one of these expeditions because the way Sherri explains it, I could lose a lot of weight.
And you don't have to be in perfect shape to start, right?
Yeah, and you might want to come with me. Looking at your stomach lately. I'm just saying, okay, hey, I'm number one? No, you're number one, buddy. But I'm thinking, yeah, I would stick to noodles. I would stick to soups, stuff that you boil down and you're going to eliminate the contaminants. And the ginger lemon tea, I'd force that down and do whatever I can to stay as hydrated as possible. But my English stomach would be screwed. Although I did read a blog about these guys going up there and staying. They do have pizzas, but it's funny, the pictures of the pizzas that are offered and how they change in look and shape. It's hilarious. And it's funny because when you look at a photo, you go, oh, that does not look pleasant. But the person goes, this is probably the best meal that I had the entire time. What? And then you see something that looks like an actual pizza and they go, this was absolutely horrendous. Oh. Either way, I'm thinking pizza still has dairy on it.
Sure.
I'd avoid dairy too.
It's the carbs you need the most.
Well, I know that she brings us up way later, and we're not gonna mention it because she doesn't really get too far into it. But the entire time they're going up, this is something that needs to be brought up. The yaks.
Oh,
yeah, because I think there's some other locations that they use or utilize a particular beast, an animal, beyond the normal use or daily use that just a normal person would typically use it. But the yaks, they provide milk, fur, dung, and heat element. They actually burn the yak dung in their stoves for heat. So you typically might be smelling yak poop. And although Sherri said, no, I didn't really smell anything off but I've read that that could vary. And also the wind, you might get a couple of dusts here and there and you'd be like, well, I know I'm ingesting yak feces. Speaking of yak feces, here's her talking about a couple of nights and then, of course, her first glimpse at her goal.
So, as we're making our way to base camp, there was a couple of stops where we spent 2 nights there instead of 1 night just to acclimatize. So Namche Bazaar was one of them. We spent 2 nights there. And then we did a day hike, up to one of the peaks there, and then came back down. So that was at 11,200 feet at Namche Bazaar. That was where we've got the first glimpse of Everest, which was pretty cool. You see it off in the distance. And, because it's so far away, I mean, obviously Everest is, the highest peak, but it looks really small from where you are. It's just because it's very far away, and there were many other peaks, all around us that looked bigger, but it was merely because it's like an optical illusion, right? It's merely because they're closer. So I mean, even though everybody wants to see Everest and is in awe of Everest, there are many beautiful peaks along the way that were just as gorgeous, if not even more so than Everest. I mean, Amadablin is actually my favorite peak. It's kind of an odd shaped, kind of conical type of looking peak.
Amadablin is, again, it's an iconic, beautiful peak. It looks like a shark's fin, and it's like the Matterhorn. That's the one that you want to just stare at and you go, gosh, that's beautiful. Beautiful. But all right, so when she moves on to a place called, well, she'll say it, but I looked it up, Tangboche. It's 11,200 feet.
We went on to Tangboche. Just kind of we were crossing, rivers and crossing bridges and whatnot. They have these long swinging suspension bridges. And, sometimes it seemed like we were crossing the same one back and forth, but I think it was just because there's so many of them. And these bridges, so the thing I wanted to note was that, when I first embarked on this trek, I had these visions, of what it was going to be like. I thought it was going to be, really peaceful. I'd be the only one on the trail, and I just kind of, be like, be in serenity, whatever, be enlightened or something, because of where it was. But in reality, that actually wasn't true. There was a ton of people on the trail, and I later come to find out that 61,000 people a year actually hike up to Everest Base Camp every year. So that's like a lot of people. And I think even at the time we were on the trail itself, I think at that time, there was like 1,000 people or something on the trail or whatnot.
So now she moves through the area to she'll say it, but I'm going to bring it up also, Dingboche. Dingboche, which is at 14,500 feet. She's now higher than the United States and higher than we ever climbed.
Wow.
Which is almost, again, one of those really weird bucket list things, like, oh my gosh, I want to climb higher. Personally, I do. I would like to do this before I get too old. Either bag Kilimanjaro or somehow find a place to be higher than 15,000 feet. But yeah, there's quite a few locations that are like this, but the monastery is there, and it's sort of mixed with that chaos, right? So monasteries are supposed to be like the Zen, where you get quiet, you get the solitude, you get that inner peace.
And the monks are brewing beer, right?
Yeah, exactly. That'd be awesome. Well, yeah, we'll find out here at the end of the story. But there's that still chaos because you're dealing with massive amounts of people going up and down the same trail. Just again, the Nepalese people are, Sherri mentions how amazing they are. I also looked up that thing that you remember, that really obscure reference I made to The Golden Child with Eddie Murphy. I want the knife.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, it's in my head now forever. Yes.
Well, this is one of those moments where I pull it off again, because when you approach a prayer wheel, they say Om Mani Padme Hum. This is how I pronounced it. Om Mani Padme Hum. And I did ask Sherri about the traditional and modern type of experiences. What did she notice regarding the culture, the people, the clothing, the dress, the buildings, and all that? And here's what she had to say. But I will bring this up, that she is correct. It's clockwise. When you go there, you turn the prayer wheels clockwise.
And all along the trail and whatnot, you come across like these prayer wheels, that has the Sanskrit, engravings on them. A lot of them with the mantra that's Om Mani Padme Hum on it, which is the mantra. You see these stones that are carved with the same thing and painted. It's just yeah, it's all along the trail. You'll see these different, stupas, which are the little like temples with the eyes, that are keeping watch on travelers and whatnot. And it's actually really cool. I mean, just I don't know how to describe it other than it's a really cool cultural experience. So it's not just like looking at mountains or looking at trees or whatever, but you're experiencing the religion and the culture of the people who live there. Every tea house we went to had internet access. Of course, you had to pay for it. So that was interesting and kind of a dichotomy where you would see some pretty rudimentary housing, dirt floors or whatever, stone walls, but it had internet access, or satellite dish on top of the building. And I might add also that the Nepalese are just wonderful, friendly, warm people. I mean, they're just welcoming. They're happy, they dance, they sing a lot. I mean, they're just wonderful group of people. It made all of us feel welcome.
So here's Sherri talking about hitting that key spot that memorializes the tragic events of probably every year. There's somebody that dies. I don't know how many people, 300 plus people. But here's Sherri.
So then we're heading up over the Tukla Pass, and that pass is where there's the memorial to all the Everest Memorial Park at Tukla Pass, which is where they paid honor to the 300 climbers who died climbing Everest. So you've got Scott Fisher and others. And so it's a pretty somber place. It's really stark, pretty windswept, rocky area as you're coming up and over the pass. And there's these stone monuments paying tribute to each of those who had died while climbing.
And I would think, Brandon, that is because again, you go up one way, you come down the same way. You have to pass by this thing. It's one of those memorials where it's like the 9/11, you cannot forget. You have to see it. It hits you straight in the face, and it almost reminds you. Obviously, as an expedition mountain climber, it speaks volumes.
I would just have to put my head down and keep walking. That kind of stuff just depresses me, and not. I mean, I would be reverent to the location and things like that, but I just have to keep going. It would bring me down, I guess.
Well, that's what she did. She moved on to Loboche, which is at, I believe, 16,000 feet.
By this point, just about everybody has gotten altitude sickness or food poisoning. So our guide actually checked our oxygen levels every night to see how we were doing with acclimatizing to the altitude. And he'd always say, if our oxygen level was low, he would either say, go slower or drink more water. I mean, that seemed to be his cure for any symptoms that we had.
Craic Shep. Yeah, that's the next part. And here's Sherri explaining, hitting the last parts.
Went from Loboche to Craic Shep, which was the last stop before we would reach Everest Base Camp. And that was the first time that I actually had a difficult time sleeping because it was so cold. It was 15 degrees at night. And, of course, with my synthetic sleeping bag, which was not nearly warm enough, I was so cold. I had every layer of clothing on, while I was trying to sleep, and just could not sleep.
Getting closer and closer too, and maybe we've sold the story wrong, but she is climbing to Everest Base Camp, not Everest. She never actually steps on Everest proper, the actual mountain.
But still, it's an experience, right? Not
absolutely
not many people actually make it to the base camp.
I haven't.
Everest.
You haven't?
No, I haven't. No.
I bet you 99% of the listeners have never either. But yeah, it is an experience. So here she is, and what actually happened on that last day getting to the EBC.
Shep was the last stop before we went to Everest Base Camp. And then, of course, we were excited, going from Gorak Shep to base camp. And Everest sort of disappears. You can't really see it from the trail too well until you get kind of right there at it. It took us, I'm trying to think how long it took us to, what was the trek on that? It was a 4-hour hike from Gorak Shep to Everest Base Camp. And then once we got there, we spent maybe about an hour there at base camp. All the mountain climbers had left for the season. I think it's a really short climbing season. I think it ended, and you'd probably know better than me, but I think it goes only from like March to May or something. It's like a really small window. So by the time we got there in November, there were no camps or no tents or anything at base camp. Anyway, yeah, so we got there. There were other groups, obviously, that had made it up to, their tour groups. And, there's, a little sign or whatever that you could hold up saying you made it to Everest Base Camp and the altitude, the elevation that you're at, which was 17,300 feet. There's all sorts of prayer flags there. It's very colorful. And, we were happy. I mean, I think we took a video of ourselves, dancing and playing music and whatnot, because we were just happy that we'd gotten there. Along the way, forgot to mention, we're getting our glimpses of the Khumbu Glacier. And so you could see it all along, the trail and at first it was kind of hard to tell that it was a glacier because there was a lot of rock and dirt on top of it. So it just kind of looked dirty. I thought that like glaciers would be sparkling, white or blue or whatever. It was interesting to see the ice fall and the glacier that was that we paralleled on the trail.
Khumbu Glacier. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Very famous. And again, we talked about how far she got up to see. I know for a fact that once you depart from Everest Base Camp, you start entering the Khumbu Glacier proper, and they have these things called seracs, gigantic pieces of ice that fracture. And I think she mentions it, how at night, these things shift and you can hear snaps and cracks. Very dangerous place. People actually, unfortunately, run into problems right off the bat just getting to Camp 1, trying to get through this ice fall. So finally, we mentioned earlier, 3 months that people could be staying up at the Everest Base Camp. There's prayer flags everywhere, rocks that it just looks like Mars. And what's funny about it is, I think, she I don't think she really gets into this, Sherri, but you can't even see Everest from the Everest Base Camp.
Because it's so far away, or what's it?
It's blocked by 22,000 plus surrounding mountains. You have to do an acclimation climb nearby if you really want to get a good view of it. I think it's Kala Patar is one of the peaks that you can probably get to the top of and get a really good photo, which probably what I would do, of Everest, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's funny because you can't even see it. You can't even you get your picture going, here's me at Everest Base Camp. Oh, that's Everest behind you? No, it's not. So you and I have done enough of these peak bags. So what happens when you get to the top?
Well, you take it easy for a minute. You look around, you take some photos, maybe you drink something, you eat something, you leave your mark, and then you get off the mountain.
What's leaving your mark? You piss?
No. Maybe you leave something that you brought with you. It could be a sticker. It could be maybe you signed a book.
16 ounces sticker?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, you'd be put in jail for that.
Oh,
and cattle prodded. No,
what?
It's very much the similar. You try to get your picture taken, and of course, hundreds of people are in the same situation. They want to take their picture, and so you do this whole thing. Okay, who's next? Okay, I'm gonna go. And then you click, click, and then okay, get out of there. Next person, click, click. Okay, that next person, click, click. Next person, get the hell out of there. So solitude is not on the menu when you get up to that location and try to just take a minute and go, I am in the presence of just amazing history and adventure and tragedy. And that's how some people just go, oh, this is pretty cool. And guess what? An hour, you turn around and you head right back the way you came. All right, so she wraps this up, and we talk a little about what she had when she finally got down to have a
Beer?
Exactly.
Oh, yes.
Well, on the way back, I mean, so of course it takes us, 9 days to get there and only 4 days to come back because we're going downhill. Although I must say, it still wasn't easy. I mean, there's still a bit of, up and down and elevation, even coming back. But, since there was because it was some cloud cover coming back, it was a totally different look. I was very, very thankful and grateful that we had sunny skies going out so that we could see all those mountain peaks. Coming back, it's all covered in clouds. So that would have been pretty disappointing if we only saw clouds, coming and going and never saw these beautiful peaks. Oh, and I did have an Everest lager when I came back to Lukla on our way back. Did not drink any alcohol on the way there because they say to avoid alcohol and caffeine. So that you don't, get sick. But I did have a nice cold one when I came back.
Wait a minute. You're trying to tell me you can't have any beer on this entire trip? What?
We may have to rethink this.
Yeah, maybe we should just do something else. All right, well, thank you very much to Sherri Ng for taking us on this beautiful trek. I will say this, we've had this story for quite some time. We've been trying to fit it into our schedule, and we've always had something that kind of blocked it or diverted it, and we're very happy to finally get Sherri's story out, which is really strange, right, Brandon? Because
yes.
We talked to her, and she's like, I'm gonna do this next year. I'm gonna go here next year. My friend's gonna go to Annapurna. She's gonna go to Machu Picchu. And you know what? Nobody went anywhere because of the pandemic.
Well,
so
maybe next year we'll have to catch up with her adventures, right?
Exactly.
Maybe the story fell right into place where it needed to.
Ooh, right. Well, certainly we ended on a high note.
Yes, we did.
All right. There you go. Thank you very much.
This is Sherri, and you're listening to Life in 16 Ounces. What's in my pint? If I could, I would have brought a Guinness in my pack to Everest Base Camp.
Ah, there are the lights. And it's closing time.
Hey! Oh, that person's angry that we didn't have a beer dome competition for this month. Woohoo. Calm down, friend. Calm down. All right, well, we hope you have enjoyed the show.
Yes, please tell your friends and support us by visiting lifein16oz.com and subscribing to wherever it is that you get your podcasts from.
Bink!
Yes, remember, we are a monthly podcast, so keep checking our social media sites for more of our usual crack. Where are they?
Well, they're all linked at the bottom of our website, which maybe will be created next 2021.
Check it out, people.
Yeah, hashtag we use life in 16oz and what's in your pint. Our email is lifein16oz@gmail.com. To suggest show ideas and pitch a story, just contact us there.
Say it one more time because I would love to get some emails.
Lifein16ounces@gmail.com.
Perfect.
You know, it's email, folks. Come on. All you got to do is go, I want this, or my friend does that. Here's their number. Here's the email. Simple, people. Just do it, and we'll make you famous.
This episode was stitched together with a lot of help from cinnamon and nutmeg and gingerbread parts and all of those things.
All right, music is by Lou Monte, Dominic the Donkey, and I gotta bring these people up. Hold on a second. And the Chimneys. Bob Rivers, man, made some funny stuff. Chimney Song. He did also Please Stop My Car. White Trash Christmas. Redneck 12 Days of Christmas by Jeff Foxworthy. And Weird Al Yankovic, Christmas at Ground Zero. That's it, folks. Thank you very much. Join us next year
Yes.
on Life in 16 Ounces in 2021. Woohoo! 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cheers!
Slancha.
Bye now.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!